Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another session of Ask Zak with myself, Zak, and my trusted colleague, Sean.
Well, good evening, everybody.
Now, tonight we want to touch on, of course, first and foremost on our dips, because our season is almost changing. We're looking at the cold front coming in, hopefully our last cold front, and our temperatures are going to pick up and our parasites are going to get busy. So we want to touch on that. And of course, something we've never spoken about as our wound treatment. How do we treat wounds, and what do we use the different products? But to kick it off, I think, Sean, with our dips, which ways can farmers dip their animals in?
Well, Zak and family, well, we have three ways of dipping your animals. So we have a plunge dip, a pour on, and a spray on. So the spray on, you mix it properly, and then when you mix it properly based on the instructions of the product, you make sure that you have at least 5 liters of the dilution per animal. And then the pour on, for those who don't know it, it's you need to make sure that you have the right level of, or the right amount of a pour on per animal based on the weight. So it's always calculated on the weight. So get the right weight and pour the right amount. One other important thing is that the plunge dip may be the most effective one that we can use, because all the dip will be solid and it will cover all the animal. So however, unfortunately at this point it's not used as much. That's it.
So when we look at our wound treatments, a lot of people come in and they ask, okay, I want that purple spray for my animal's wounds. Now there we need to start differentiating between the two different kinds of purple spray, because we put them in two different product ranges. The first one is our purple spray that kills flies and, of course, the worms that sit inside, the maggots that sit inside a wound that can cause very serious infection. So that's one group. That's products like Sapona, Cura Spray, Expel. There's quite a few of them. And then you get the ones that's an antibiotic. Now, your antibiotics, something like Terramycin wound spray, Panthox, Cyclospray, there's quite a few products like that. But you must understand, the one that does your maggots and your flies and your ticks does not contain an antibiotic in. It's not going to help heal the wound. And then when you go over to the antibiotic one, you must understand there's no insect repellent in. So it's not going to take out the flies or the ticks or the worms sitting inside the wound. So be very aware. Currently in our depots, we've got one product, and that is the Cura Spray. Now, the Cura Spray is the best of both worlds. The manufacturer actually took the fly repellent and put it together with the antibiotic, and then, of course, you get a product that covers both. So I would rather recommend Cura Spray for cattle, sheep and goats. It works well. Don't use it on other animals. Very important when it comes down to wound sprays, read the instructions, because you cannot always use any wound spray on any animal. It might affect them very badly, and you can get an adverse reaction. So be very, very careful for that. So basically, just make sure you know you either want to treat maggots or flies, or you want antibiotic, or the best of both worlds, use Cura Spray. That's going to help heal a wound, because the antibiotic that you apply on the outside of the animal is, of course, going to treat that flesh, that exposed flesh, and kill any or stop any bacteria from multiplying and causing a more serious infection. So, but if we jump back to the dips, Sean, when we get to our dips, there's a few important rules, and of course, resistance is the big word in the market currently. What do people need to know about resistance?
Well, the general note, like Zak says, is that you need to pay attention to the active ingredient inside the product that you use. Just because you're changing brand names doesn't mean you're changing active ingredient. So this is what you need to pay attention to. Do not try as much as you can to not use the same active ingredient every time, because all the insects, all your ticks, all your mites and fleas, they work their way against your medication, and they get a little bit resistant. And as soon as they're resistant, if you keep on using the same active ingredient, a few months, a few years later, it's not working and you have a huge infestation. So always make sure, as you buy a product, when you go to a depot and buy a product, look at the active ingredient, change them every now and then to make sure that you reduce infestation and reduce the chances of resistance.
And of course, just to link up with that, you get resistance, of course, when you do not use the correct dilution or the correct weight of application. So that can play a big role.
Also, yeah.
So when we get to our wound treatments, what is available? Now, first of all, when we look at a wound, we first, before we put on any treatment, we want to clean a wound. So you can use, let's say, a saline solution or maybe diluted hydrogen peroxide to clean out the wound. Those are products that we keep in our depots. And then, of course, you can use the sprays, those that I talked about a little bit earlier, which is very nice for a topical treatment when it comes to your wounds. But we should not forget, you do get ointments. Our old farmers, we call it pompoen salve because it's that orange salve, the ointment that you can put into the wound if you like. Or another product that I would really like from my side is the F10 ointment. It's a wonderful thing. It's antibacterial, antifungal. It's going to sort out a lot of problems. It's something I've got standard in my medic kits at home for my animals. So those are basically the three ways you can treat a wound. And of course, every branch has those products, so they will be able to assist you from start to finish when it comes down to our wounds. So we just need to be aware of that. Now, of course, this information we share, we've got it here, but we need to get it out to you guys. And we do that by, our Facebook page and, of course, our Farmers' Days. And Sean, where are you and the team busy this week?
Well, this week we are in Pretoria North and Modimolle. For those who know Modimolle, in Modimolle we have a layer and broiler day. So if you've got any questions and any other information that you'd like to know about layers and broilers, come and join us in Modimolle. Remember to book a seat. Call in RSVP and tell them you would like to learn more about your broilers and layers. And for those who have sheep and goats, we will be in Pretoria North. Come and join us and have a good day. Please make sure to RSVP so we can book a seat for you.
And of course, another thing is all these days, all this information you guys share is free of charge. So as Sean said, just book your place. There's no charge. We'd like to share information because to us, if we can have a successful farmer, we've got a successful customer. And that's healthy for the economy at the long run. And we know farmers are the backbone of the country. We need food. We can't go without food. So until next week, same time, same place. Looking forward to see you guys from our side. Have a good evening.
Same time, same place. Have a good evening.